It's Mr. Second Passport. Today's story time. When I first arrived for the first time in India, I flew in. It was after midnight. Probably not a good choice into Delhi, right? So it was after midnight in Delhi. I was an independent traveler. I'd already backpacked the world for a couple years at this point. So, I was a little too cocky, and then I don't really need to make reservations. So I walk out the plane. And the first thing that hits me is just this wave of heat. It must have been 40 degrees Celsius, like over 100, and it was at midnight, right? I couldn't believe how hot it was. Now, it was in the summer in Delhi. So then I walked out of the airport, which it was pitch black, right past all the shady taxi drivers that every airport in the world has looking for people, dumb tourists to drive and rip off, right? So then I caught the underground subway, and it was completely empty. It was like a Matrix movie or something. It was only me, and I did see this one other girl about my age, and I asked her, hey, where do I need to get off to go to this area called the Membasar, right? This area I was looking for to find a cheap place to stay that night. And she said, yeah, you want to get off at that stop and you're good. Okay, I said. So I got on this train. It was just me and her, and then she ended up getting off. And then I kept going to my stop, and then I started walking, and it was weird. It was only me walking through these huge tunnels up to the main surface. And I walked up, and I walk out, and it's all dark with some buildings in the background, and I see some tuk-tuk drivers all around haggling for me to hire their services. And so I didn't really know where to go. There wasn't really anyone to ask. So the only person left was to ask a tuk-tuk driver. Big mistake. Hey, where's the Membasar? Can you take me? And he said, yeah, I'll take you. So then I got in the back of his tuk-tuk, and he started driving me. But then he started driving me some more, and some more, and some more, and on these back roads. And I started getting worried. And then I started just seeing all these, like, kind of rough area, and all these people just sleeping on the sidewalks and stuff. And it was pitch black, and just these figures walking around in the dark around me. And it was a little offsetting, to say the least. And then I asked him, hey, where are you going? And he said, oh, we couldn't go the direct way to the Membasar because today's an Indian holiday and we have to avoid certain areas where foreigners can't go. So, as a new foreigner, not even an hour in India, I didn't want, he knew I didn't know. I didn't know, didn't want to ruffle any feathers, so I just went with it, which he knew I was probably going to do anyway. So then we kept going and kept going, and then I realized he was taking me for a ride. So then we kind of stopped at a stoplight where I saw a travel agency with its lights still on. It was weird. And then, so I got out of the tuk-tuk, and I said, I'm going to talk to this travel agency and see if they can find me something. And he just stopped there and waited. And so I walked inside, and the travel agency said, oh, I'm sorry, Indian holiday. Everything's booked. But we can hire a cab to take you to Agra, which is a couple hours away where the Taj Mahal is, and that would be like $400 for the taxi. So I said, whoa, I'm just a backpacker at this point. I don't have that kind of money to drop on this. I wasn't expecting it. And so then I walked out of the agency quite upset at this point. And I see a couple young Indian guys walking in the street, and I stop them and say, hey, I figure they probably speak English. I'm like, hey, can you help me? I think this tuk-tuk guy is trying to rob me. Can you tell me where a hotel is? And they said, yeah, just keep going straight. And they said, okay, I'll talk to him. And so they talked to the tuk-tuk guy and told him where the hotel was because there was no one else around that could take me. So I got back in the tuk-tuk. Not very bright. So then I got back in his tuk-tuk, and he said, okay, yes, just straight ahead, we're going to go. And so we started driving again, and then he kept driving, and then he kept driving, and I knew he was doing it to me again. So then after weaving through what it seemed to me is the ghettos of Delhi for a bit, he knew he was wearing me out, and I said, okay, just take me to any hotel that you know. So then he took me to this little funky bed and breakfast that probably should have cost 10, $20 a night in India at this point, and it ended up being like 100, right? For me, you know. And then the next day when I woke up, I discovered that actually when I walked out of the subway station right there, the Membasar was literally right there, right across the street. I didn't need a tuk-tuk at all. I could just walk across the street, and it was just this one street just lined with these cheap hotels, $5-10 a night. And it took me about a few days to really get my Indian legs under me and really learn how it worked in India, because everyone's pretty much out to scam you. Most people, not everyone, but most. But there's a lot of real nice people too that'll look out for you that you meet once you're in India for a little bit. The problem is that evening I was so rattled by the experience that I sat down on the internet on my laptop and booked my flight out of India in about a month's time, right? Because I was going to visit a friend down in Bhopal where I was going to work with him for a few weeks, and then I was just going to ski that out of India. I didn't want to stay any longer than that. And I realized right then and there, when you travel, you know, or move abroad, things will happen, but don't let these bad things that may happen to you affect your long-term or even your mid-term or short-term plans, right? Don't let it affect your plans. Know things are going to happen, and just roll with it, learn from it, and move on. But don't, if you want to live abroad, just because one bad thing happens, don't let it change your plan, or you might regret it later. I do probably regret that I didn't give myself more time in India. That's it. I'm Mr. Second Passport. If you like this, don't hit subscribe, hit the like button below. Take care.